decide which one you're going to see on top and which one is underneath. And temporarily we can turn off the bitmap. And now we have defined the regions, and we could now define the rest of the problem. But the illustrative point here is that we can use something like a bitmap as a background, and from the bitmap we can create a coordinate system that is very close and matches the bitmap, and that then can be used to create points and regions. I won't take the time here to do this, but I have completed the analysis, defined the boundary conditions and the material properties, and produced some results. So if we go to File, Open, we don't need to save this. It was just illustrating the procedure. And if we go to the completed folder and we look at the file Import Picture, you can see the completed results. I'm sorry, I meant to open a different file, a file that has the completed solution. Say File, Open. Seep from Picture is the file I meant to open that has the solution. Clicking on the Zoom Objects icon, turning off the background grid, and here we are in the results view, and we see the completed solution. It is rather interesting on this diagram as an aside that we can see the change in pressure drop across the first cutoff, and then again we see the pressure drop across the second cutoff. It is also rather interesting, just as an aside, that the person who drafted this drawing did not exactly create this line at the exact elevation of 20.4. If you use the View Results command, you will notice that the total head here is indeed 20.4, but it does not exactly match the bitmap line. View Results Information, clicking on one of these nodes, we see that the total head is 20.4, so that the total head was defined properly. However, interestingly enough, that the bitmap drawing itself, the 20.4 is here, it is not here. Anyhow, these are some of the idiosyncrasies of importing a bitmap. But this does illustrate what you can do with importing a bitmap, and that you can then determine a proper scale for the bitmap and then use the bitmap as a background guide to develop points and regions for your analysis. Now, in this particular case, it begs the question whether it would not have simply been easier to simply visually look at the drawing in the textbook, create a few points, and define the problem that way. And that may be true in this particular case. Sometimes it's not so readily obvious which would be the most efficient way of defining the problem. Anyhow, regardless, the intent was here to illustrate the procedure, and this was a good example to illustrate what can be done in GeoStudio by importing a bitmap and using it as a background to define the problem. This brings us to the end of the import picture session. I will come back to